Are we good?
Ready? All right, we're going to call a meeting order.
Okay. Mrs. Cochran?
Here.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Here.
Ms. Snyder?
Here.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Here.
Ms. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Ray?
Here.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. We are first on the agenda looking for a motion to accept the minutes from January 17th, 2023 from the council meeting as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from January 17th council meeting as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, Ann. Thanks, Heather. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Abstain.
We're looking next for a motion to accept purchase orders from January 14th, 2023 to February 3rd, 2023, totaling $10,191.43 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept purchase orders from January 14th, 2023 to February 3rd, 2023, totaling $10,191.43 as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Heather. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
We're looking next for a motion to accept bills from January 13th, 2023 to February 3rd, 2023, totaling $385,782.05 as presented and not read, please.
I'll make the motion to accept bills from January 13, 2023 to February 3rd, 2023, totaling $385,782.05 as presented and not read.
Second.
Thanks, Sam. Thanks, John. Any discussion, council? No? Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Thanks. And next, we're looking for a motion to accept December 2022 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept December 2022 bank reconciliation report as presented and not read.
I'll second.
Thanks, Laura. Thanks, John. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Thank you. We're looking next for a motion to accept January 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read, please.
I'll make a motion to accept January 2023 DOPS delinquency report as presented and not read.
I'll second that.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Laura. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Kuntz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving next into the reading of ordinances and resolutions, please.
Resolution number 7249-2023, a resolution approving the police chief to hire Shane Slater as a full-time police officer with the Lakemore Police Department. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to hire Shane Slater as a full-time police officer with the Lakemore Police Department. Section 2, he will earn $21 per hour and will be provided health insurance after 60 days. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all such deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in formal action were meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Resolution number 7250-2023. A resolution amending Resolution 7185-2022 by increasing hours for Carolyn Mostyn. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, council approves to amend Resolution 7185-2022 by increasing Carolyn Mostyn's hours from 2 hours a week to 4 hours per week. Section 2, all resolutions and parts of resolutions which conflict with this resolution are hereby repealed. Those resolutions and parts of resolutions which are not in conflict with any provision of this resolution are hereby expressly accepted from repeal by this resolution and shall continue in full force and effect until otherwise amended or repealed by council. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Resolution number 7251-2023. A resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into a Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, or WPCLF, agreement on behalf of the Village of Lakemore for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater or facilities, and designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan. Whereas the Village of Lakemore is seeking to upgrade its existing wastewater facilities, and whereas the Village of Lakemore intends to apply for Water Pollution Control Loan Fund for the planning, design, and/or construction of the wastewater facilities, and whereas the Ohio Water Pollution Control Loan Fund requires the government authority to pass legislation for application of a loan and the execution of an agreement, as well as designating a dedicated repayment source. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, council approves the village administrator to apply for a WPCLF loan, sign all documents for and enter into a water pollution control loan fund with the Ohio Environmental Protection Agency and the Ohio Water Development Authority for planning, design, and/or construction of wastewater facilities on behalf of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Section 2, that the dedicated source of repayment will be the sanitary sewer fund. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the passage of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council or any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this resolution is declared to be an emergency measure in the interest of the health, peace, and safety of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore. Therefore, this resolution should take effect immediately. Ordinance number 1806-2023. An ordinance authorizing all actions necessary to accept Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council, or NOPEC, 2023 Energized Community Grant. Whereas the Village of Lakemore, Ohio is a member of the Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council and is eligible for one of or more NOPEC Energized Community Grants for 2023 as provided for in the NEC Grant Program Guidelines. And whereas the Village of Lakemore wishes to enter into a grant agreement with NOPEC, Inc., and substantially the form presented to this council to receive one or more NEC grants. And now, therefore be it ordained by the Council of Village Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, this Council of the Village of Lakemore finds and determines that it is in the best interest of the Village of Lakemore to enter into a grant agreement to accept the NEC grants for 2023 and authorizes the mayor to execute the grant agreement to accept the NEC grants funds. Section 2, that it is found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were taken in a duly noticed virtual open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations which resulted in formal action were taken in meetings open to the public in full compliance with all applicable legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 3, that this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the public peace, health, safety, and welfare of the village residents for the immediate implementation of these rules, and provided this ordinance receives the affirmative vote of the members elected or appointed to council, it shall take effect and be enforced immediately upon its passage and approval by the mayor. Ordinance number 1807-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 149-1937, prohibiting the discharge of firearms and air rifles within the corporate limits of the village. Whereas the Village of Lakemore Council agrees the current law regulating discharging of firearms within the Village of Lakemore Corporation limits should be updated to reflect current equipment. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Village of Lakemore Council amends Ordinance 149-1937 to read: A, no person shall discharge any air gun, rifle, shotgun, revolver, pistol, or other firearm, bow and arrow, or crossbow and arrow within the corporate limits of the municipality. B, this section does not apply when firearms, bows and arrows, or crossbows and arrows are used in self-defense, in the discharge of official duty, or when otherwise lawfully authorized. C, this section does not apply to bows with draw weight ratings of less than 15 pounds. Section 2, whoever violates this section is guilty of a misdemeanor of the 4th degree. If, however, the offense was committed on school premises or in a school building or within 1,000 feet of the boundaries of any school premises, a violation of this section is a misdemeanor of the 1st degree. Section 3, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this council concerning and relating to the adoption of this ordinance were adopted in an open meeting of this council, and that all deliberations of this council and any of its committees that resulted in such formal action were in meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including Section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. Section 4, this ordinance shall take full force and effect on and after the earliest part of law by law. Ordinance number 1808-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. Now therefore be it ordained by the Council of the Village of Lakemore, County of Summit, State of Ohio. Section 1, Council approves to increase appropriations in General Fund Professional and Technical Services, $7,421.16 for the Summit County Dispatching Services. The American Rescue Act Fund 2053, $30,000 for police salaries and fire expenses. Section 2, Treasury for payments from any of the foregoing appropriations upon receiving proper certificates and vouchers therefore, approved by the board or officers authorized by law to approve the same, or an ordinance or resolution of council to make the expenditures, provided that no warrant shall be drawn or paid for salaries or wages, except to persons employed by authority of and in accordance with law or ordinance. It shall be provided further that the appropriations for contingencies can only be expended upon appeal of 2/3 vote of council for items of expense constituting a legal obligation against the village for purposes other than those covered by other specific appropriations herein made. Section 3, this ordinance is hereby declared to be an emergency measure necessary for the immediate preservation of the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of the Village of Lakemore, Ohio. Therefore, this ordinance should go into effect immediately. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move next into the mayor's report. And I just want to remind everyone that the Lakemore Food Pantry will be operating on the last Wednesday of this month, which is Wednesday, February 22nd, 2023 at Lakemore United Methodist Church, and that will be at 5 o'clock. So the Lakemore Food Pantry for the month of February, February 22nd, 5 o'clock, Lakemore United Methodist Church. And, I also want to remind everybody who's listening and watching, and I hope it makes it to print, I really want to remind everyone in Lakemore, if there is an issue at hand for which you need some assistance or you would like to complain, social media is not the best avenue to do that. I have posted my phone number many, many times on social media saying, please refrain from posting this here and just call me, and it could have been handled days ago. There was several incidents that you hadn't even heard about. I found out 2 days afterwards. She found out 4 days afterwards from me, our village administrator, who's in charge of this kind of stuff as it relates to trash matters.
Right, and all my office phone calls go directly to my cell phone.
Yes,
I don't have an
ma'am.
office phone, so I answer.
Everything, all the
Everything.
time, all day long. Right. The number is posted everywhere. My cell phone number for the line that I use, it's not a village line, it's a private line, but I use it for the mayor's phone. It's right here, as opposed to my school phone. This is my phone. I use it for mayor matters. My phone transfers to that. Call us, please. Putting something on Facebook and then complaining because, the mayor hasn't responded is not really fair to me, as it should be. Again, if you have something to say, call me directly. More importantly, call the person who I'm gonna call to handle it, our village administrator. Literally, I mean, that's her job, to handle these matters, and there's several, like 5 or 6 things popped up this week. I didn't see them for 2 days later. I mean, because I'm not monitoring all the different pages.
And I'm not going to.
Yeah.
I monitor our Facebook page.
Oh, I mean,
But
this is a
that-
good time
but,
to
yeah.
plug that.
We have our own Facebook page.
Village of Lakemore.
And we post.
Everything.
If anybody was watching, they were getting bombarded, especially Saturday, because of the water break that we had. And then we've got another one for tonight, because we have a water break.
On Church Street, right?
So, yeah, every time we have something major, Carolyn Mostyn is putting it on all of our
Yeah.
social media, which is our Facebook page. But if you're posting stuff on, you're from Lakemore or any of the other ones, they're not gonna get answered.
There's many pages that have Lakemore on it, and I think there's even one that says Lakemore Village or something like that.
If-
We have one. It's the Village of Lakemore. It says Government Agency. That's the one Facebook page that we post to, and it's official. She monitors it, Tracy, and
Yep. Every-
Carolyn monitors it, and if
Yeah.
there's something, you monitor it too, right, Nikki?
Yeah, sometimes
But I
I
mean,
We get a message when somebody even
Yeah.
shares from it.
And really, that goes to even say that, like, I've had people ask me questions, and my literal answer is, please, call Tracy or Richard. I promise you, I'm just gonna call Tracy to
Right.
get the answer, but I don't know if people are afraid to call you. I
They
don't
shouldn't
know,
be.
but
It's
it's
your
like,
job.
literally, just call Tracy. She will help you,
Yeah.
and if she can, she'll help you.
especially stuff that's happening in real time. I mean, taking videos of stuff. Like, we could have handled that instantly.
Yeah.
Like, I'm literally at the school. I'm 2 seconds from your
Yeah.
house, which is kind of where this was going down.
Yeah.
And you're no more than a minute away from anywhere in Lakemore. Like, you don't leave. Anyway, I'm not complaining per se. I'm disappointed that we couldn't handle the matters.
If you
Sooner.
want things handled, you need to call,
Right.
or if you just want to complain, then go
No,
on those
I
other
stopped
Facebook
complaining.
pages.
Yeah.
I think they
And I
enjoy to
think that's
complain.
the
Yeah, and that's fine, then go ahead and just
I mean,
complain.
Yeah.
nobody
Complain
bothered
on
to look
Facebook, it's
into
not
the
gonna get fixed
situation at
from
all.
that. I mean, it's
Right.
just not-
And
You know who it was,
the truth of the situation was, it was a new driver who happened to be a Lakemore resident.
Really?
It was
Okay.
his first time out, and, I mean, you
Are you
you
gonna
drive
do
up and
them
down
more
these
than I
roads,
do?
you know how narrow they are, and you're trying to get a big truck and people trying to
How
get
many
around you.
Things get hit.
Oh, we were talking
You know-
about that situation. Yeah, yeah.
So,
It happens.
I'm pretty unplugged.
It happens.
Anyway, I don't want to be complaining either. I'm sorry, but I just want people to realize.
I have no idea.
There's other avenues
Yes,
that
ma'am.
that needs to be
Yeah.
taken to handle these things
And we could
appropriately.
handle them with quickness.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, be quiet, Rich. It's all right. Yeah, I'm finished, that's all. Please, call the municipal building with issues, or 780-7391. 780-7391's me. All right, thanks.
573-1990. All
Thank you.
goes to-
Okay, council report. Mrs. Cochran, good to see you tonight. What do you got for us?
The next council meetings will be on Tuesday, February 21st. It's not going to be on that Monday because that Monday is a holiday. I believe it's President's Day. So Tuesday, February 21st and March 6th, and that each of those meetings will be at 7 o'clock right here. And that's it for me.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back to Ohio.
Oh, I wouldn't be here if we weren't going to have something exciting happen here tonight.
I actually do not have much to report on tonight, other than the fact that we will be having our Easter event soon. So just details to come on that. So when I know more, I will have everyone post and get the word out. And other than that, that's it. Call Tracy. Literally, that's it. Just call her.
And along the lines of our local media, I'd like to thank Spectrum Community Channel 1023, Frank, Jim, and Dan for their fine coverage of local government meetings and events. And you can find their scheduling on the Springfield Township website. And also, don't forget to follow Channel 1023 on Facebook, which, well, I checked, they're also posting schedules over there of the programming and when everything's going to be on. And there is also a Channel 1023 blog you would want to check out. And Carolyn Moston works hard on all these things. So check those out. And as usual, if you have any ideas on what would be nice to be covered on 1023, contact any of your local government officials. And thanks again. That's all.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd just like to announce that our next council workshops will be February 15th and February 28th. Each of those at 6 p.m., and those will take place at the Lakemore United Methodist Church.
Cool.
I actually don't have anything right now, so.
No? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. Sam?
Low season for the leaf pickup, you know.
Yeah,
Hooray.
yeah.
Uh,
I can remind people, since spring is right around the corner, please do not use fertilizers.
There you go.
Because they do have negative effects on the lake, so, you know, just, make sure your debris is picked up and all that other stuff, and just, make sure that you, don't do fertilizers and pesticides, because they do have a very negative effect on the lake, so.
True that. Did you cover the council meetings as well? Got it? All right. I guess that's it. Besides, speaking of President's Day, I just want to make a shout out to Springfield Lake Roller Rink that's having a President's Day skate that day.
Nice.
from
Oh,
1
I
to
did not know
3:30.
that.
Yeah.
What time?
1 to 3:30.
Nice.
And that's February 20th.
Nice.
So.
They're always such a great community partner for us, and thanks
Absolutely.
for for them. Does anyone want to talk about the lake? Do you want to talk about that tonight? The last report that was shared?
Just the last report that we did, was what, August when we took the samples?
Yeah.
And all the numbers came back almost compliant with what the EPA says. But then we took the units out for the season. So we're gonna put them back in April 3rd and take samples. And then there is a department at Ohio State that wants to come and take a panel of samples and kind of keep up at our lake to some of the other ones that they're doing a study on. So
Because they're pretty impressed with the results of
they're
this.
impressed, and they're wanting to see if it's something that can be used widespread, if it's going to have a long-term effect,
Mhm.
or if we're starting over every year. So
Mhm.
Right.
Range and scope and such, but the
Mhm.
report, I mean, the actual findings are
yeah,
pretty impressive.
yeah, we like that. We were talking with somebody from ODNR just about the fishing agreement, and I asked them, and they're like, "Oh, my friend is a professor at Ohio State," and so yeah.
This will also be like interesting because we're going to be starting out the season with these activities, right?
Mhm.
Like, so we're going to get ahead of the game.
Yeah.
of
For sure.
doing it the
This will be a good
Yeah.
chance to do the
For
whole,
sure.
the whole reading.
Yeah,
The whole year.
and this year we have it was just starting to freeze, and then it warmed
Yeah.
up today. So
Yeah.
unless something drastic happens, that's usually the freeze slows everything down. So
Bittersweet. I know that it needs to freeze and get a lot colder, but
Yeah.
man, oh man, I'm ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
And I might have told you, But I forget when it was this summer that I was talking to one of the blimp pilots who told me that they noticed the difference going over Springfield Lake now.
They would, because they probably do that same.
They do that, you
All the
know,
time.
during that season,
All
you know,
summer.
all summer long. And I don't know what it looked like to them before, but he told me when we were up
definitely
there, how
discolor,
good it
right?
looked,
Yeah.
what a difference they saw.
That algae definitely discolors it,
Yeah.
and they've noticed it.
He
But what
did.
did you say from the
I said,
vantage point of
that's
the?
my house right there. And that's the municipal building, and there's the police department. And I was pointing out everything, and he was just saying, but the lake really looks a lot better.
Good.
So I took a lot of pictures of that in the school.
Without chemicals and,
Right.
everything else, people were kind of trying to strong arm us into
To
using.
spend a lot of money on a lot of chemicals forever.
And this was a joint partnership with the township.
Yes.
And we're still working well.
Yeah.
It is funny that like they commented on the lake since like half the year you can't go or like touch Goodyear Lake or like that lake that's surrounding.
Wingfoot, right.
Yeah, Wingfoot Lake.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's signs posted up everywhere for
Yeah.
harmful algal blooms.
Now
Yeah.
theirs didn't look too good. I took
It
pictures
never
of theirs.
does.
with-
But I still
Yeah.
kayak in it. It's not bad, but
Yeah.
it's just one you know.
Yeah.
And the Eagles seem to be happy. There's some really good pictures of them lately, right, John?
Yeah.
Have you seen them, the Eagles? No?
They
Tam's-
live back behind, like, you know where Acres is and
Uh-huh.
the woods back there. I see them every single time. You think I'm a little kid and it's just like
Yep.
soaring down. I'm like, an eagle!
They
And
fly
it's that
by my
every
window at
time.
the school.
Every time.
Yep.
And every time, do you do this?
Oh, every
like a
time.
little kid.
Every time.
I'm so honored that they live behind me.
And you had to go to Alaska to go see
Yeah.
them, and now they're
Now they're here. It's unbelievable.
now they're here. Anyway, that was
Okay.
a whole lot of good news, though, right?
Yeah.
Can I mention about the backflow bridge program?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
So, part of the requirements with the Ohio EPA for our water system is to implement a backflow device program. And so, there is a laundry list of things that to check off. You know, do you have a hot tub? Do you have different things? And if you do, then you're supposed to have a backflow device that will keep from impurities backflowing back into the water system. So we're first starting off with all of our businesses. So I've sent out letters to all of them. And then the next step's gonna be all of our residents. And like I said, first it's just gonna be the check-off lists, send me the paperwork back. And then through the year and then every year, we're gonna start doing inspections. So, and like I said, it's an EPA requirement, it's to make sure that our water is safe. We've been just checking off all the little different things that they've been requiring, so. And then also with that, we're, beginning of the year, so we're gonna start the rental property inspections. So, we've sent out the forms for everybody to register.
Yep.
And then we're gonna start doing inspections once the weather breaks, so.
Awesome.
That's it.
Anything else? Stan?
Good.
Heather? John?
No.
Ian? Nikki, Laura, nothing? Okay. Megan, anything? Okay. All right, and there's nobody to appear before council, so we can move right into our new business. Mrs. Cochran?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7249-2023, a resolution approving the police chief to hire Shane Slater as full-time police officer with the Lakemore Police Department. First, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
We all wanna jump in tonight.
We all second that. Pick one, Megan.
Okay, is there any discussion? Takes 5 to dispense. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
You jumped on that.
Thank you,
Good
John.
job.
Yeah, you did.
Okay, any discussion?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Anytime we can, this is great. We're so excited.
Everybody's excited.
Everybody's excited. especially the guy that's getting hired full
I
time.
hope so. I hope so.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope and pray he's excited. We are.
Yes.
If he's half as excited as we are, he's in a good
Yes.
place. Anyway,
Roll call.
roll call.
Mrs.
Aye,
Coons?
aye, aye.
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Absolutely.
Mr. Ray?
Yep.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Right.
Good. Nikki, yeah, you're
I'm up. Okay, I have a resolution. I would like to adopt Resolution 7250-2023, a resolution amending Resolution 7185-2022 by increasing the hours for Carolyn Moston. But first, I would like to dispense with the 3 reads. Did
I'll
I say it
second.
right? Moston?
Moston. I'll second that.
I knew I was gonna mess it up.
No.
I love you, Carolyn. Sorry.
Roll call, please. Takes 5.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thanks, Sam. Any discussion? I think she's doing a great job.
I think
Yeah,
she's
I
doing-
think
she's
she
doing a
is.
great job. She
I
puts
think
in
we're
a lot more
getting
than
a
just-
lot of great information
I
out
think
to
you
our
noticed.
Right.
residents.
You just mentioned that. I want to make sure people hear. Like.
Yeah, she
She
puts in a
works.
lot of time in this, more than,
Right.
More
This
than her
amendment
hours.
is only just to pay her a little bit more of what she
Putting in,
works
yeah.
What she's
already.
putting in, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't even come close to really what she is doing.
Right.
I don't think.
But she works really hard to try and get as much information out as soon as she can get it out, and I think it's been,
Yeah.
especially with that one platform, that's where our residents need to be getting our information. That is like real time. If there's something going on, Carolyn is getting it out there, and so is Tracy. So
Yeah.
that's where you
And-
need to be following. So thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Karen.
It can get like warfare out there. Like,
Yeah.
on social media channels with a lot of people commenting some really bad things. So like, kudos to her and you guys for kind of being that buffer because having
Like,
to deal
just
with
call
flex
Tracy.
jets. Oh my gosh,
That's- just call
it's a
Tracy.
morale hit hearing what people have to say. But
I'm gonna
anyway.
make a shirt. Call Tracy.
yeah.
Just call her. I promise you, she'll help you.
Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Strittmatter?
yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
You're up, John.
All right, I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution number 7251-2023, a resolution authorizing the village administrator to apply for, accept, and enter into Water Pollution Control Loan Fund, WPCLF, agreement on behalf of the village of Lakemore for planning, designing, and/or construction of the wastewater or facilities. And designating a dedicated repayment source for the loan. But first, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
I'll second the original.
Thanks, Sam. Any discussion?
I just would like to ask Tracy, like, could she like give a little bit of information
On this, yeah.
on this? What it's for,
Mhm.
what it's going to, like
Yep.
what's the premise behind it?
So it's for the wastewater side, the sanitary sewer side. So we had applied to the EPA for the nomination. So you ask them first, will you nominate this project for us? Which for this is taking phase 1 of the sanitary sewer and either replacing lines or lining them, and then improving the manholes or replacing, depending on what they need. So they approved the nomination side, so this is actually applying for the loan for our engineer to go through and figure out which lines and all that. So once he does the design with this money, then we'll go in and it'll roll into a construction loan, which then that will be just like the next phase. And then that'll be the money to actually do the work. And we're right now working on the camera work so we can do phase 2, apply for next year.
So this is going to be a really big thing for our village.
It is.
Game changer.
You know, and a lot of people think that we are doing nothing, to take care of the sewer,
We
that
are.
we,
It
you know.
takes force
Yes.
ever.
I
to
know
do
people
this.
are very impatient with, you know, they feel like nothing is being done, but things are being done. You know, just kind of like the wheels of justice go slowly, the wheels of government go even slower.
Right.
You know, because you cannot do a project, anything, whether it's roads, sewers, you know, buildings, construction, whatever, you cannot do any of that without going through, you know, the planning phases and the, you know.
Everything needs
Everything needs an
engineer.
engineer, and you have to come up with reports, and you have to do, you know, so much to get to this point, you know, and like you said, this is also planning into for next year. So this is, you know, this started like, to be, you know, towards the end of last year. So this is, we're at this point now. So for anyone that's like, oh, they're not doing anything, no, we are doing things. You know, we are sending out reports, we are sending out letters, we are dealing with things to get to these points, to be able to apply for grants, to help us get our system up to where it needs to be. You know, so we're not just sitting here twiddling our thumbs and, you know, people think we don't care, and people think that,
Right.
you know, that we just are like, it is what it is, and we're just out to take their money, and that is not the case. You know, we pay our own water bills, so we definitely care, and we don't wanna see the village of Lakemore, residents have to pay more than what they are paying. So if we can fix these issues and get, you know, grant money to get these things taken care of, to where we can assess these situations and, you know, get these projects to where they need to be, you know, then that's great for the village, so, and the residents. So I
For
just
sure.
don't want anybody to think, oh, they're not doing anything, because
For
we
sure.
are. You know, and Tracy, this is another thing that Tracy, she is on meetings and calls and
All day
everything all day long, between the lake and the EPA and the sewer and the EPA and all this stuff. I mean, she is doing a lot of behind the scenes things that people think are not being dealt with, because they're not seeing immediate results. You know, so hopefully with getting this into place, and we can start that phase with getting things done. We've already replaced the force main.
That big, section of force main.
Yeah,
And that
and-
has
and-
made a big improvement with
Yeah.
how much lake water, groundwater we were getting in our
Yeah,
our sewer
so I mean,
system.
we are making improvements, we're getting there slowly but surely, so this is just, that's why I wanted you to kind of explain a little bit about it.
So, yeah.
So that people understand that things are, you
Hurry
know,
up and
happening. So between the lake
Hurry up and
being
do it
great
and wait.
and, you know, getting grant money to get the sewer fixed, you know, we're doing a, you know,
Yeah.
we're doing an okay job with trying to get things done. People might be a little, you know, impatient, but we're getting there.
For the first time in decades, I think I mean, not only are we trying to fix so much, but, you know, there's a maintenance plan being put in
Yes.
place right now. For the
Yes.
first time.
Yes, maintenance is, the maintenance should have been done decades.
Right.
Like, this is not just a, you know, but we as council members, we are trying to get caught up with not what needs to be done. This is kind of like, this was, I don't wanna say dumped into our lap, but this administration is taking this very seriously and trying to take care of these issues. And, you know, like I said, nothing is overnight, so we are really trying to get things done. And we're making good progress between the lake and the sewer, so.
But it does
Thank
take
you.
time.
It
So
takes
you have to go through a lot of crap.
Ba-dum-bum.
Literally.
That was your line. You missed it. You missed it.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
that's all.
Anything?
Nope.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Mrs. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Now, Heather, before we, that was it, right? We're good. Before we move on to you, we jumped the gun, I jumped the gun. Nikki, you need a second on your original motion still to
Oh.
pass it. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We got all
Okay.
caught
I
up
will
in.
second.
Thanks, Laura. We got all caught up in the good news and stuff, and I was excited to get it going, because I'm excited to swear someone in tonight.
And we're ready for that now?
Roll call, please.
All right. Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes,
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Now, Heather, you're up.
yes.
Thanks.
All
Sorry.
right, so I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 1808-2023, an ordinance to amend ordinance 1795-2022, make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the Village of Lakemore, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. The first, I would like to make a motion to dispense with the 3 reads.
I'll second that.
Thanks, Heather and Laura. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes. I'll also second the original.
Thanks, Laura. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to dispense with the regular order of business, please.
I'll second.
Chief does.
I'll second.
I
Oh,
said it.
I thought she said, can I have a second? And I was like, I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coontz?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
let's rock and roll,
You're
chief.
dispensed.
Hey, did you vote for all the pictures? We want to do that?
Whatever you, oh, watch that.
It should be
Our plans combined.
Roll on up.
We'll come back through, ladies.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
I almost didn't recognize you. You're
That
not
was-
even
I'm in a hat, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hat's back.
All right, I mean, they voted, it's a done deal, this is just a formality now. I'm thrilled, thank you for, actually, I need Okay, please, place your hand on the Bible and repeat after me. Well, on this date, you were hereby commissioned to serve as a full-time police officer for the Village of Lakemore Police Department pursuant to ORC, section 737.16. As such, you shall affirm the following. Please repeat after me. I, Shane D. Slater,
I, Shane D. Slater,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
of America,
of America,
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the State of Ohio,
of the State of Ohio,
and the laws and ordinances
and the laws and ordinances
of the Village of Lakemore,
of the Village of Lakemore,
and will discharge the duties
and will discharge the duties
of the office of
of the office of
full-time police officer
full-time police officer
with the Village of Lakemore
with the Village of Lakemore
Police Department,
Police Department,
to which I have been appointed,
to which I have been appointed,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Welcome aboard, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Why didn't you correct it? I'm sorry.
Right there. Right there, really.
I hope so. We're lucky and blessed.
Need a redo.
Yeah.
Also,
He didn't have a raises or anything.
says
That's all right.
six.
I know, we know
His
it.
hand was on the Bible, we know.
Yeah.
It's
He's done it before, right?
Right?
Oh, yeah, we did the first, yeah.
Probably.
I know, but
All right.
been for a while.
I'm
It's all
just
a matter
so
of
overcome with
maybe.
joy.
I know.
Good.
Attaboy.
Mayor?
Doing the research,
Yes, sir.
when I had to
Every
swear
word.
in, believe me, Google.
Relative to the
Was
ground.
that like,
it was raised.
yeah.
Like, coming up, talking math and physics. It's all about physics, man.
Besides my dad's name, I forgot Junior. Congrats.
Yes, we're so happy to have you.
Picture with your.
Mom and Dad.
Come on. Let me get a photo here. Okay.
Congratulations.
Okay. I'll make a motion to return to the regular order of business.
Like sit.
I'll second.
Okay.
Sit, you sit. Good dog.
Good mirror.
Get her a gavel.
Is there a second?
Get her a gavel.
So we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Hope you're going to celebrate.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Yes.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mrs. Cochran?
Yes.
Mrs. Coons?
Yes.
Ms. Snyder?
Yes.
Mr. Strittmatter?
Yes.
Ms. Anderson?
Yes.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
All right.
Can I keep you for a couple more seconds?
Sure.
All right.